Hi, this week's Parsha Vayishlach, we come across a pasuk that appears to be random. It's between two different parts, completely unrelated to before and after, and that is the pasuk V'tamud Dvorah mineket Rivka. Dvorah, the nurse of Rivka, passes away. Who's this Dvorah? Not only does she pass away in this mention, why would you even mention that? Rather, we see that even more than that. She's buried, Tachata Alon, and they call the place Alon Bachutz. They literally cry after, and they name that place that way. Who's this Dvorah, and what's the big deal about her? And Rashi explains this Dvorah is actually sent by Rivka. Rivka, when she tells Yaakov that he has to run away from his brother, from Esav, she says, don't worry, when things calm down, I will send someone, and I will bring you back. And that is Dvorah that she is sending. She's sending Dvorah, the nurse that looked after her from the days she left Lavan and Bethuel, her family's home, with Eliezer, and she's the one that she sends, not realizing that Yaakov's on his way, and on the way back, unfortunately, she passes away. But the Ramban says that wouldn't explain all the crying, and the Ramban says, no, this is actually, without realizing, what we're seeing here is not just the passing away of Dvorah, Rivka also passes away. To think of besides that, obviously the sad of Yaakov losing his mother, but the tragedy of her not getting the opportunity to meet, to see, to get to know her grandchildren, that's what's happening here. That's the crying. Those are the tears. That's the Alon Bachut. As to why that's not mentioned, Ramban talks about, the others talk. We'll not get into that now. However, Ramban still needs to explain. We still need to understand. Fine, so Rivka passes away, but Dvorah also passes away, and she's there. And what's her story? And the Ramban explains in the second explanation. He says something beautiful. Why is it that she's brought? Why is Dvorah in this picture? Ramban says Dvorah was the one who's looking after, perhaps upon the request of Rivka, Dvorah is the one looking after Yaakov's kids, Rivka's grandchildren. And it comes a point where Yaakov Avinu realizes that he's now heading back to Eretz Yisrael. And what I would assume to be the natural thing, she's not young. If you do the math, Yaakov is close to 100, and this is his mother's nurse. So she would obviously be older than his mother and not young. 100 something, right? And right, it's a long journey. And the natural thing for Yaakov to say is, stay here. Thank you so much for all your work. Give her a nice gift. Say goodbye, and that's it. But Yaakov understands that's not what a mensch does. A proper mensch, the hakarat tov that he owes, that he wants to show, is to take her the way. He'll do everything he possibly can. I wouldn't say he failed, but she does pass away. But I'll take you back to Rivka so you get to meet. And I'll take you and I'll look after you in this whole entire process. And that's the beauty of Yaakov, to understand, to appreciate literally every single thing, even this Dvorah. And it's important to mention that. It's important to mention that. And not only that, the next pasuk is Hashem appears to Yaakov. Now, Hashem appears to Yaakov many times, but he just appeared to him a second ago. Why are you mentioning that again? And perhaps it's to teach us that Hashem, of course, appears Parshas Vayetze, after Yaakov Avinu learning 14 years, Hashem would appear to him after learning. Of course, he's on such a high spiritual level. But Hashem also appears to you after you have that level of appreciation, after you have that level of hakarat tov, that menschlichkeit, that bin adam l'chavero, that also is worthy of Hashem's appearance, no question about it. A beautiful, beautiful idea. Shabbat shalom.